Hello everyone, my name's Andy and welcome back to another crypto vlog. On December 28th, 2017, Bitcoin is going to have another hard fork, which is called Segwit2X. Now, originally this is going to commence on November 16, but it was cancelled and now it's coming back by a few people. Now, my main concern with Bitcoin has always been, at least for the couple months that I'm using it, that the transaction fees are way too high than what they were supposed to be. And apart from that, it takes so long when you want to move some Bitcoin from one place to another, which essentially makes it counterintuitive. It makes it not worth it or not worth the hassle to make a transaction. And that's because of the fact that the Bitcoin block size on the blockchain, each block is 1 megabyte, and each block is being also produced every 10 minutes. So no matter how many people are in line and no matter what happens, it's always 1 megabyte and it's being produced every 10 minutes, which as more and more people get to know about Bitcoin, the traffic gets congested and the mempool is getting full, which is what I was talking about in the last video yesterday. So this already is causing a problem with the transactions and transaction fees. Now, there has been some solutions introduced to this, like the Lightning network. So basically what the Lightning network is, if you have the main blockchain here, let's say this is the blockchain, the Lightning network introduces a parallel sidechain here, in which people can interact with each other without needing the help of miners. So in the original blockchain, in order for a transaction to go through, it has to be validated and confirmed by a miner to be put on the blockchain. But when you're using Lightning Network, person A can send person B some Bitcoin, and the only requirement is that they both use a double-sided signature to confirm the transaction, and therefore it goes there. Now, this sounds like a very good idea, and it does help very much with the transaction times and fees. But there is a bug in the Bitcoin system or network, which allows one person, before this transaction here goes into the main blockchain, this person here can exploit the bug, which is they can change the signature of the transaction, meaning the name or the hash of the transaction, and therefore be able to override it or change it completely so it's wiped off and it doesn't register in the blockchain, even though this person has received their Bitcoin. So what basically happens is that this bug allows them to make double money, because they can tell this person here that I didn't receive my Bitcoin and therefore you have to send it again. So they make double money, and this is called the malleable transaction bug. And it's very easy to exploit. Now, the solution to this was originally found in Segwit, which you probably heard about. And Segwit did two good things. One thing with Segwit was that they introduced, by having the sidechain on the side, exactly the same thing here. So this is the original blockchain, and this is the side blockchain, a smaller one. So in each block, let's say this is one block right here, and when the transactions go into this block, what basically happens is the transaction includes the transaction itself and the signature from the person that sent it, as well as the signature from the person that received it. So the information in one block, the information in one block is being occupied by those two things, but the transactions themselves, they don't take too much space. The signatures are the one that are taking way too much space in there. So the signature takes about 60% of the size of the whole transaction in the block. And what Segwit did was they said that what if we take this, the signature data, and we put it in the sidechain, and instead of putting it on the main blockchain, that as a result had that by moving the signature to the sidechain, that the main blockchain would have more free space for more transactions. And therefore, they would put here. And when you put them on the sidechain, it's much more difficult for this person to exploit the bug. Actually, the bug disappears because there's no way for them to have access to it. All right, so this is what Segwit did. In order for this, though, to happen, there was a problem with, because it was not backwards compatible, so they had to actually, this had to be, in order for this to work, it had to be a hard fork. And therefore, they had to change it into another different format in order for that to happen. But that's a story for another time. Anyway, all this stuff has been tried and it worked, but the problem was that with Segwit, as good as it sounds, you know, with all this had as a result the lower transaction fees and faster times, but the problem was that this sidechain here had to be sustained by miners, and the miners, they do not get any reward for sustaining this sidechain, therefore making them more loss than profit. And when they introduced Segwit back in July, if I'm not mistaken, the problem was that they put as a rule that if 90% of the miners agreed, only then it would take place. But instead, the miners had problems because, of course, they were not making any money, and they objected to that. So there was a lot of collision between people. But anyway, Segwit did get indeed activated, but not the whole thing. So there was the New York agreement, and then they talked about also increasing the block size from 1 megabyte into 2 megabyte. And that would happen with the Segwit2X. So let's talk about Segwit2X, which was about to come on November 16th. As of right now, Segwit2X is bringing quite a few good things. They sound really good on paper, but I'm not really sure how good they're going to be in practice. I'm going to put a little screenshot here with their website so you can see what exactly they're bringing to the table and what they're planning to do. But essentially, I want to talk about if Segwit comes and if it actually happens, if the fork happens, then the real question is, how do we go from here? Because is Bitcoin going to be a better choice by implementing the Lightning Network, as we probably know, in 2018, or is it better to just stick with Segwit? Unfortunately, I'm not the one to be answering this, and my opinion differs with a lot of people as well, at least in the cryptocurrency space. But what we can talk about is, what do you do and how do you prepare for this hard fork? Now, it's very important that you have complete control of your private keys. And at least a good thing about the Segwit2X is that you're going to get, if you have the right, if you have your money in the right place, you're going to be able to claim your Segwit2X coins if you own some Bitcoin already at the time of the fork. But it's the safest bet to just keep your Bitcoin, or most of your Bitcoin, in some kind of software wallet. So that could be anything from, let's say, Exodus or Electrum. By the way, I'll have links to these stuff in the description. Or even better, you can have a Trezor or a Ledger Nano S, and these are hardware wallets, and they give you the most control, really, because you can have your private keys and stuff. But here with the software wallets and Exodus and Electrum, you can export your private keys, and you can then use another compatible place where they're going to be supporting the Segwit2X in order to get your and also the importing of private keys. So you can import your private keys from here to another wallet, which is going to support the Segwit2X, and therefore claim your tokens or coins. I'm sorry, but I think Hit BTC is also going to be supporting this. I'm not sure. I'm gonna have to check the website, but yeah, it's good to keep your Bitcoin in a private wallet or in a software wallet, not in the exchanges, because you never know. And as well, when this happens at the time of the hard fork, which should be about 9:30 on December 28th, 9:30 GMT +3 or +2. I'm not sure what Greece is. Anyway, but around that time, just make sure for 3 to 4 hours, don't make any move in money or any major transactions, because you never know if the transactions are going to get corrupted. Not the transactions themselves, but the block that they're going to be in. It might get corrupted. So it's safe to just do nothing. Let things clear. Give it a couple of days, 3 days, maybe a week, and then you can claim your Segwit coins. All right, I think this is it for today. Hopefully this video was helpful to you. If you liked it, please subscribe. Take care. Don't make any mistakes with these, and I'll see you tomorrow.